Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lights Out Sports Podcast special, the NFL Awards Show. Cheese came up with this all by his little lonesome here, and we decided we were going to do this because especially Cheese thinks that a lot of the NFL people are going to get this wrong, so we want to make sure that we get it right. So Cheese,
yes.
How do you feel about these particular awards?
Well, I think the media creates a narrative about some of them. I think a lot of them are about stats. I think a lot of them are about improvement and not really who should win it. I think it's gotten a little better with analytics, but it still needs a lot of work. And we'll talk about them as we go through.
All right, I can't wait to do that, buddy. So, I'm going to leave this music playing in the background for a second because it doesn't seem to be bothering anything. Now, I do need somebody to help me, because as I was doing all of this, it said there was some kind of error that occurred. And the last thing I want to do is do a complete show forever and a day and then figure out that we didn't do it right. So I'm going to check a couple of things here right quick to make sure that we are broadcasting here.
It's broadcasting on your X. I'm checking our X's right now. Not on mine, though, but that's okay.
Is it broadcasting on X?
On yours, but not mine.
Ah, that's where it said the error was. Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't like my X.
It doesn't like your X. Let me see. I don't know if I can. So give us just a second here, ladies and gentlemen. We are gonna.
It's fine.
I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to do it pretty much right away. Well, we've got one person that says hi, so.
Okay. We get a lot of highs.
We do. We get a lot
Not
of
so
highs.
many hellos.
We do a podcast and we never get high on the broadcast. I mean, that's,
I'm not going to. That's up to you.
Yeah, no.
Knock yourself out.
I'm pretty sure my work would frown on that. So let's not, right? Let's not. All right, well, we got quite a bit of people on with us, so we're just kind of leave it as it is. We're gonna get some more. There we go. So yes, we're going to get a lot more of those, I am sure. We like it. Go ahead. Come on board with us. We're going to do our NFL awards shows here. And let's talk about some of the categories that we're going to do here in just a second. We are going to do several awards, right? All of these. Cheese came up with all of these. So if you don't like any of them, it's all his fault. Okay. So we're going to do Coach of the Year on a playoff team, the worst Coach of the Year on a playoff team. We're going to do Coach of the Year on a non-playoff team. And then worst Coach of the Year on a non-playoff team. We'll do Executive of the Year and worst Executive of the Year. We'll do Offensive Player of the Year and worst Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year and worst. We'll do Offensive Rookie of the Year and the worst Offensive Rookie of the Year. The best first-round pick, which I found this one really interesting, best first-round pick and worst first-round pick. We'll do Defensive Rookie of the Year and worst Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then we'll do Offensive MVP, Offensive Least Valuable Player, or LVP. And then defense will do the same thing. And we will conclude the show with the worst team that made the playoffs and the best team that made the playoffs. So, gonna have a lot of stuff to do today. Appreciate everybody that's already jumping on board with us. So, Cheese, before we get into our awards, right? I'm sure you're texting and then
I'm getting a lot of texts.
Here's the link, right? Especially since they're not, it's not on your spot. They're probably all going, "Oh my God, I can't find you." They can find us. They can find us over on YouTube. Tell us what people should do, sir, when they get on either our YouTube channel or your YouTube channel, because you do it better than anybody.
Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, what you do is, if you're new, you hit subscribe and turn on the bell for notification, because you never know when we could just go live, do a reaction. And of course, we do the podcast every Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And you go to my YouTube channel as well. Check out my videos. I did 2 today because a lot going on at Football with Cheese, CAGEZ. And once again, subscribe and hit the bell. And if you are on YouTube, hit that button that looks like this, the thumbs up button.
You just gave our people a lot of stuff to do, man.
It's easy. Subscribe, hit the bell, and hit the thumbs up. It takes 3 seconds.
All right. 1 second for each one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into these awards, we've got to talk about Matt LaFleur for a moment and your Green Bay Packers, okay?
Okay.
I don't want you to go off on a tangent too much. We'll save a little of this for tomorrow as well, because I'm sure we're going to talk about it tomorrow. There might be a decision made before the podcast tomorrow. So far, though, Cheese, I haven't seen a actual decision come out or a press release from the Packers. Have you seen anything that has officially come out from the Packers?
No, nothing.
Okay, so they've not made a decision as of yet.
Correct.
Okay. Give me the percentages. Do you think the Packers will re-sign him, play out his final year of his contract, or they're just going to go ahead and fire him? Which one do you think is the most likely to happen of those 3?
I'll just say the least likely is play out the last year's contract. Ed Policy is the new team president. He took over in July. He's made it very clear. I don't want a lame duck GM. I don't want a lame duck coach. Both Brian Gutekunst, the GM, and Matt LaFleur, the head coach, have 1 year left on their deal. So they're either going to extend him or, 3 options: extend him, fire him, or trade him for a draft pick or 2 to a team that wants him. So the most likely is probably, unfortunately, extend him. I still think that's the most likely. I'd say that's probably 75, 80% chance. It's an unknown. We've not heard, Ed Policy has not come out and said, we need to get something done with Matt. I want Matt here for a long time. That could be negotiations. You don't want to give away your leverage. If you tell the agent, oh yeah, he's going to be here no matter what, then you might have to pay him more. But we haven't heard him say that. A lot of team owners, Packers don't have an owner, but the team president basically is de facto owner. A lot of owners will say that, oh yeah, we're going to try to work something out. We're going to get. I never heard anything. I have no idea what's going inside his head. So there's the next best possibility is probably, believe it or not, probably trade him to a team that wants him, and the least likely is probably he just gets flat out fired. And they could mutually decide to part ways too. It's complicated.
Yes, I'm figuring that out. I didn't realize that I was going to open up this can here. So, yeah, I was a little surprised, a little shocked here, and I was trying to see if I could get this thing to go on your X right at the moment. I don't know what happened there, but I was clicking some buttons and nothing seeming to work. So, if you're used to seeing this over on Cheese's X channel, it will be back. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but we'll figure it out before tomorrow's show.
So if you do, I reposted your clip, so you can still watch it on mine. It'll just be under your heading. So it's on my. It's still there.
Look at you being all smarticle and everything. Look at that.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, we know what you want. You want Matt LaFleur fired.
Yes.
So let's say your dream comes true. Who do you want to be the next coach of the Green Bay Packers?
Well, I want him no longer there, no matter whatever way that is. Trade, part ways, mutually, or fired. And Adam Schefter has said they are working on a contract or talking contract. That doesn't mean they're going to come to an agreement. To answer your question, though, I'm always a fan of up and coming coordinators more so, and that's typically what they do. I think the only coach since I've been since I was a little kid that they ever hired.
Only 3 years ago, by the way, but go ahead, sir.
Yeah. That was a retread coach is Ray Rhodes, and he lasted 1 year. Every other coach they've had has been an up and coming coordinator. So that's typically what they do. If they go that route, I like Clint Kubiak. I like Jesse Minter a lot. But Clint Kubiak, yeah, he's offensive coordinator of Seahawks. Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator of the Chargers. But I mean, Jeff Hafley, the current defensive coordinator, has done a terrific job. And you can just tell he's a leader. He has a natural leadership ability. And that is, I think, what's been really lacking since probably Mike Holmgren. Really, they don't have a true leader. So one of those, if it's a retread coach, John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McDaniel, I like all three of them.
Okay. So since you brought up your defensive coordinator, this is the last question because we'll save some things for tomorrow on the Lights Out Sports podcast as well. So this will be my last thing. I'm almost positive that your defensive coordinator is going to be hired by somebody. Do you think that as well?
Yes, I absolutely do. I think he might be the second or third choice. I think a lot of people are waiting to see what Harbaugh and Stefanski does and then play off that. And then one of those teams will pick Hafley. But I think he's lined up 5 interviews or requested already, and it could be more. So, yeah, I don't think they'll keep him. It's a shame because the defense is just – there's just so much fewer breakdowns from Joe Barry. Just so much just bad play calls where the defense is so exposed. They don't give up. The big plays just disappeared. If someone says, okay, the total yards, it's not a huge difference, but it's the big plays that don't give up. And so, yeah, I do expect him to get one of the head jobs.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of connect everything, and then we're going to jump into our awards here. The first one we're going to do here in just a second.
Well, one more thing I'm going to say before you do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to know more about the breakdown of how they could trade him, all the possibilities, I didn't want to go too off on it because I could talk, for 10 minutes. I think I made an 8.5-minute video about it. Just go to my channel at Football with Cheese. I made a whole video about that a few hours ago. So after you watch this, of course.
Of course. Excellent. We appreciate that, sir. All right. So a lot of different things have happened here. And today I want to connect the dots here because you said earlier, I think I said it when we were coming on the air. I know you talked to me about it off the air. I see the comments. I'll get to those here in just a moment as well. But you had said, hey, I want to do this award show mainly because the NFL is going to get a lot of these wrong. And I want to make sure I put my opinion out there and get these guys right. Get them, give them the guys or give those guys the attention and everything that they deserve. Today, I don't know if you saw it, but everybody here in Arizona is going all kinds of crazy, right? It was reported that John Harbaugh had a phone call with the Arizona Cardinals today. And everybody's like, oh, we're going to hire him. Here he comes. He's going to have it. Man, the only thing that happened, guys, we're going to put all of this together. I'm even going to go back and say an Aaron Rodgers phrase. Relax, right? Relax. RELAX. Relax, people, right? And this is the kind of thing that you're talking about, right? People see just a little something and they just run with it. And we want to make sure that on this award show that we're doing right now, we did it separately from our Lights Out Sports podcast that we'll do tomorrow. And we did it because we want to give these guys their kudos. We want to give these guys their flowers and all of that kind of stuff on a separate show and have you guys be able to watch this and then tune into the show tomorrow for the regular stuff that we always do. So, yeah, it was just a phone call, people. Calm down. Relax. It means absolutely nothing.
Hey, there's no reason not to listen to anyone who has an opening and see what they have to say, see their plan. There's no reason not to take that call if you're John Harbaugh. So I get it. One more thing before we go. I had this stat. I gotta say it.
Give it to us.
Because I don't want to forget. I might forget it tomorrow.
Okay.
Since in the Super Bowl era, there's been 176 occasions, okay, where a team had a 15-point lead starting the fourth quarter. 176 times since Super Bowl I, or since that playoff.
Okay.
Those teams are 172-4. Okay.
And how many times have the Packers been one of the 4?
The fourth was Saturday night, Packers Bears, right? They were up 21-6. The last time before that was the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl. They led 28-9 going in the fourth quarter, lost in overtime, right? Guess who was the quarterback coach for the Atlanta Falcons?
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur. He's been part of 2 of the 4 ever since 1960s, 176 times. So Falcons, if they want to trade for him, can you really? If you're a Falcons fan, can you? They fire Raheem Morris. Can you really hire the guy who has the second, who blew a 15-point lead, who was part of the team that blew that Super Bowl? Is that what you're telling your fans? We're going to hire Dan Quinn, like, Jr.? Anyway, I just want to put that stat out there. It's crazy. Let's get to some awards.
All right, let's get to some awards. But thank you, Raman. We appreciate it. We say hi back to you, and everybody else that said hi to us so far tonight. Thank you guys very much. All right, so the first award we're going to do is Coach of the Year on a playoff team. Coach of the Year on a playoff team. How do you want to go about this, buddy? Who's going to take these? You gonna go first? You want me to go first? We're going to kind of go back and forth. How are we going to do this?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. I'll tell you what. I'll go first. I'll go first on this one. We'll take turns. I'll go first.
All right.
So my Coach of the Year is Mike Macdonald of the Seattle Seahawks. They were, I think, 7.5 over under in Vegas, and I think we both took over, but we both, I think, thought they were last in the division. We just didn't think the Seattle team would be very good. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. Sam Darnold's had a good year. It's pretty incredible what he's done in 2 years in Seattle. And look what happened to the Baltimore Raven defense in the 2 years since he left. It went from a great defense to a terrible defense. So I got Mike Macdonald, Seattle Seahawks. Who you got?
All right. Well, first of all, let's throw this up here. Amy Small says Sean Payton. That's actually a pretty good pick, Amy. That's a great take by you. We appreciate everybody. Jump on board as we go through these awards. You guys give your picks too. We'll throw you up here. Thank you guys very much for doing that. I'm going to take a Mike as well, but it's not the same Mike that you chose. I'm going to go up to New England and go Mike Vrabel. I didn't think New England was going to be anything special either. And I'm picking Mike because, like, I saw what he did. You know, I've seen it 3 or 4 times. I've seen what he has done outside the locker room where he waits for everybody, right? Just little stuff like that. I've seen how he coaches people up on the sidelines. I saw him do it 2 or 3 times during the playoff win yesterday. And to be honest with you, I think I might be giving something away here for a later award on, but I think they were the most dominant team yesterday against the opponent that they had. And the Chargers came into New England and did absolutely nothing.
It was the only game that wasn't close. It was the only game that didn't come down to the last 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could almost have just been an NFL fan and tuned in for the last 5 minutes of each one of those games and would have been good. But there was so much drama that happened in between them. And I'm sure we'll get to that tomorrow on the Lights Out Sports podcast as well. So,
real quick, Amy, Sean Payton did a great job. There's no doubt about it. He's a great coach, one of the best in the NFL. He has no chance of winning because he's Sean Payton, because everyone knows he's such a great coach. So he's not going to win it. But, yeah, he did an amazing job.
Okay. I have a feeling that we are both going to take the same guy for this award. Well, let's do it anyway. Who was the worst coach on a playoff team this year? Cheese? Go ahead, sir.
I have Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers. I talked about it so much. Yeah, he did a terrible job. They limped in the playoffs. They actually won half their games. They played 18 games. They won 9 of them. They did not win a game after Micah Parsons. They lost 5 straight to end the year. It was a disaster. We saw what happened Saturday night. You can't blow that many games. I got another stat for you about Matt LaFleur.
Go ahead.
Okay. The
Packers blew. You know I do.
Yes. Okay. The Packers lost 4 games, playoffs included, where they led by 9 points with 5 minutes to go. Yes, we heard that.
Yes.
Cleveland, Dallas, didn't win. Dallas was a tie. Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Chicago twice.
And technically a third time.
No, they beat Chicago the first time. Just two of the.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's 5 games hit double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. That's just crazy. So yeah, who you got?
That's a crazy stat. But you know what? We are going to take the same person. Matt LaFleur is the worst coach. I mean,
yeah.
I kept, I watched your videos, obviously, but at the same time, I also know that you're a big Packers fan, and there are times. I mean, it's hard for me to do it as a Bengals and Cardinals fan because it's where I used to live and where I live now. It's hard for me to kind of separate myself from those teams sometimes. And when I see your stuff, I wonder, okay, is this really how he feels, or is this because he can't separate himself from the team that he loves? But I watched Matt LaFleur screw that game up so bad. Yes, that was awful. I mean, they had the lead. They looked like, to be honest, they looked like that they were dominating them more than what New England was dominating the Chargers. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't do a darn thing. And they went 3 straight 3-and-outs, and you're just like, what is going on? It's not like the Bears have suddenly changed anything. I sent you the link in your X on the I think he's a broadcaster or whatever that's
Kirk Benkert. Yeah, he does a YouTube channel. He's a former Packer Falcon quarterback. Yeah.
Oh, there's an interesting take.
Yeah,
some people are saying LaFleur is NFC Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin has the Super Bowl. That's the difference.
Okay. Uh-oh. Now,
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Amy, you're doing a fantastic job here tonight, girl. So let me just ask, Cheese, would you be okay if Matt LaFleur stays, but he gets a good offensive coordinator to call the plays for him? Because now before you answer, I'm going to set this up a little bit. I think he's a decent coach, but I think he's another one of these guys that just can't do everything. He's overwhelmed. And he just doesn't do it well enough. Even though he's like, oh, I am Matt LaFleur and I can do everything. And it's like, no, you're proving to everybody that you might be Matt LaFleur, but you can't do everything.
Yeah, it's funny. People were blaming Jordan Love because he didn't lead a game-winning drive when there was a couple drops, and Matt LaFleur had wasted timeouts earlier in the half. Like, okay, yeah, he didn't have enough time maybe because he wasn't getting help. But to answer your question, I just want him gone. It would help, I think. If you got Mike McDaniel's calling the plays, he's up in the booth. I would like that a lot. But I think there's a leadership problem too. There's more than just that. There's, someone said online, okay, well then he can help with special teams. I don't know if I want him helping on special teams. It's been bad every year he's there. I don't think this guy's the right guy, and I just want him gone.
I'm going to stick with Mike McDaniel a minute. I know we're going to jump off topic and we'll get on to our third award here in just a second. If you're Mike McDaniel, Chiefs, would you take the offensive coordinator spot at a really good football team, or would you take the head coach of another not so good football team?
Ooh. I think it might be better for Mike McDaniel, unless it's a good spot, unless he gets like the Falcons, the Ravens, or the Packers head coach job. If it's a bad team, yeah, he might be better off going to like Green Bay or Detroit, maybe Seattle if they lose their offense coordinator, and be an offense coordinator for a year or two, and then getting the better job. Because yeah, Miami it's a disaster there. I mean, they have a terrible roster. So yeah, I think maybe better off being a coordinator unless he gets a good job.
Yeah, almost like a reset or a reestablish yourself kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot too. I certainly agree with you. It's when Amy brought that up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and ask him. All right, so we've done Coach of the Year on a playoff team. We did Worst Coach of the Year on a playoff team. Let's do Coach of the Year on a non-playoff team. Coach of the Year on a non-playoff team. Cheese, you've gone first the last two. Let me take this one if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with, I had another guy at first. I had the guy we were just talking about when I was first doing all this. I had Mike McDaniel. Just because I was kind of wanting to go, yeah, he was a decent coach and you fired him. But I think there's another guy who deserves this award a little more. Kellen Moore in New Orleans. That's who I ended up going with. New Orleans all of a sudden became 10th in passing yards, and they had Rattler and Chuck, right? When you got those two guys and you become 10th, in the NFL in passing yards. I mean, you should just get handed an award right then and there. So, they had a 1,000-yard receiver in Chris Olave. They actually had two people that had 10-plus sacks this season. So he's decent on defense as well. That was Cameron Jordan and Chase Young. Both had those. As far as team awards go, they were 9th in total yards allowed, and get this, they were 4th in passing yards allowed per game. So they've got some pretty good offensive output. They did really well on defense, and I really like this. So let's see here. They beat the Panthers twice. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Jets, the Titans, and the Giants. So they beat who they were going, or who they were supposed to beat, and a couple teams that they weren't. And then when you look at the teams they lost to the Patriots, the 49ers, and then a bunch of animals. You ready? Bills, Bears, Seahawks, Falcons, Dolphins, Ravens, Cardinals. Just a whole bunch of animals.
Well, except for Cardinals.
Right. Well, the Cardinals are like, it's a bird.
That was early in the year.
Early in the year. It was the first game. But, I mean, they lost to a bunch of playoff teams.
Yeah, Kellen Moore, they got better as the season went on. And Tyler Shuck got better. He did a great job. He really did. We both picked that, if you remember, to be the team that picks first in the draft. We thought they had the worst roster in the NFL. So it's funny. I wrote down 2 names just in case, so we didn't do the same one. So the one I was going to go with is the guy you mentioned earlier, Mike McDaniel. I'm going to go with him. We just talked about him. He did the most with one of the worst rosters in the NFL. They won 7 games. And they have drafted, if you look at the last 4 drafts, there's no team that's drafted worse, because I studied the drafts, than the Miami Dolphins. This last draft, they had the worst draft of anyone. They got the just garbage draft this past year. They did fire their GM, and he just keeps overachieving every year, and they knock him down. Okay, he's 0-2 in the playoffs. At Buffalo, at Kansas City, in cold weather, teams that were like favored by double digits. Of course he lost those games. It's just crazy. The fact that he got in the playoffs twice is crazy. So Mike McDaniel is a very, very good coach. All
right. So, if we tell you who's the best, we also got to tell you who was the worst one, right? That's only fair. So we did Coach of the Year on a non-playoff team. Now we're going to talk about Worst Coach of the Year on a non-playoff team. Cheese, you're not going to go first. I'm not going to go first.
Oh, okay.
One of our listeners, Amy, she's just rattling off all kinds of stuff for us today. I hope she keeps going with us here. Amy's going to go first. I don't know about you, but I kind of agree with her.
Go ahead. What's your pick?
Well, that is my pick. I was going to go.
That's my pick too.
Really? See, look at this, Amy. Look at that.
He was awful, but go ahead. You go first.
Wait a minute. Before we go too much further, Amy, wait till after the show, okay? But then you may have to go to the emergency room and get your head examined, because you're thinking along the same lines as both of us. That's. And when you go to the urgent care, you just say, I was listening to the Lights Out Sports podcast, and I did this. I picked the same pick as Mike and Cheese, and they said to go get my head examined. So here I am. All right, just blame it on us. Yes, Pete Carroll was just horrible. We said it. I wouldn't have. Smitty's going to come on here and give us here. But I'll get to you, Smitty. I wouldn't have hired Carroll in the beginning. Both of us said that. He's like, what, 70-something years old?
73 at the time of hiring. Yeah. So
he was like
now. Yeah.
Probably. He was like a waiter at the Last Supper. He gave Jesus his appetizers. You can't tell me that a rebuilding team needs a 70-something-year-old person as their head coach. That was just a stupid hire from the get-go. What about Gannon? I'm a little close.
I actually wrote down 5 names. He was one of them. There's a lot of bad coaches this year on bad teams, but Gannon didn't do a good job. They lost a lot of close games, but I'll let you talk about Gannon because I
don't really want to talk about Gannon, because you and I both know I didn't think Gannon deserved to be fired. So I'm not going to go with this narrative and and say that he did. I'm not going to backtrack on it now, but Schmitty's saying Gannon's not great. You're saying Gannon's not great. I'll let you and Schmitty talk about Gannon, and I'll just sit over here and watch.
Well, it's just I expected improvement. The defense got better. They drafted well. I know there's some injuries, but it just expected so much more. I know that Kyler Murray got benched, but that team should have won at least 6 games, probably 7 or 8, and they won 3. So you just can't keep losing close games. And I don't know if players checked out. I don't know. I'd have to do a deeper dive, but some of those games, it's just they just played awful and barely lost. Just awful. So you got to go back to the head coach. Why are they playing so bad over and over? Yeah, Todd Bowles, I wrote him down too. But Pete Carroll, the thing with Pete Carroll is it still made absolutely no sense. The Raiders need at least 2 or 3 years rebuild to get that roster stinks. And he wanted Geno Smith. They wanted a quarterback and traded for a 34-year-old quarterback. That was his quarterback in Seattle. I'm guessing Pete Carroll was the reason why they did that. It just none of their moves made any sense. And then they drafted a running back when they didn't have an offensive line to block for him. But yeah, Pete Carroll. I mean, there are some games where I just could not believe how bad a coaching job he did.
Now wait a minute. Ashton Gentry is a one-of-a-kind game changer at running back. I would have also been tempted to take him.
No, I would have taken him. But you gotta sign linemen or draft some linemen to block for him. That's my point.
Okay.
Like, it's just a mess there. But Pete Carroll, he didn't do any help. It just made no sense. And I honestly think he should have done more with Seattle. He should have won at least 2 Super Bowls. I don't think he's a very good coach. I never did. He just had the most talented team.
In college, right, over at USC, right? That's where he was at?
No, he just recruited the best players. They just had a lot of talent. So
now, that was back in their heyday when they could go out and get people, kind of like Alabama can now. And, maybe Indiana's going to be able to do in the future. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the Lights Out Sports podcast. It's the NIL is getting really interesting. We'll talk about that. And then Schmitty brings up another really good point about Jonathan Gannon. Here it is. Crazy amount of penalties. Yeah. If you look, I believe that they were the most penalized team in the NFL. So what you're saying is correct, I guess. I'll jump on this for a moment and say that losing close games is a coaching thing, not necessarily a player thing. Getting a lot of penalties is a coaching thing, not necessarily a player thing, because that's what that coach is there for, is to coach them up. And if he can't do that, then he probably doesn't deserve to be there. So yeah.
It's not just losing close games, it's just almost every close game they lost. It was crazy. But yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the executive of the year. No, you don't have to be sorry. Hang on. He says, sorry, y'all, I can't stand Gannon. You don't have to be sorry.
Well, he's gone.
Yes, give us your opinion.
He's gone, so yeah. Yeah.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to give us opinions that are the same takes as ours. That's why we do this, right? Not always do my choices and Cheese's choices line up. In fact, it's honestly better podcasting if they don't. So, jump on here, ladies and gentlemen, and give us your opinion. As long as you're not stupid, we'll put you up here on it, and we'll go with it. So, Schmitty, Amy, Ramen, there's a whole bunch of other people. Thank you guys very much. We had a lot of comments tonight.
Or if you're a Bears fan, which means you are stupid.
You just gotta poke that bear, don't you? Like literally. All right, what about executive of the year?
Okay, so I have Elliott Wolf. He's the general manager of the Patriots, or some executive. I don't think he did a good job last year. I didn't think he had the best draft, but the draft, the offseason, the free agents they signed Milton Williams, they signed Robert Spillane, who's played well. They signed Morgan Moses. They really needed a right tackle. Drafted Will Campbell, drafted Travion Henderson. And the improvement. I mean, it's not just Vrabel. I know you picked Vrabel. It's not just Vrabel. There's a lot more talent on that team. So, yeah, Elliott Wolf.
And they brought in the right people. The tight end, what's his name? Henry, I believe, right? Just a really good fit there. Not necessarily a tight end. I'm sure when they signed him, there was no one in New England that was, jumping up and down and doing cartwheels down the sidewalks or anything over it.
Yeah.
But he fit the system, and they did draft a lot of people that did that fit the system that they already had.
And when I said I didn't like his first draft, besides Drake May, after that, Drake May was a great pick. But after that, I mean, he could have had Ladd McConkey and traded back. I mean, there's just man, it's like if Lamicki was on that team, they wouldn't have had to sign Stephon Diggs, who's got maybe in some trouble. But all right, who you got?
This year's draft's going to be pretty rich, I think, in really good receivers. So they can get a good receiver in this draft, even picking down where they're going to pick at. So
it's deep at receiver too.
It is. It really is. I picked a guy for a little bit different reason than what you did. I went with the San Francisco 49ers, John Lynch.
Okay.
I like him a lot, number one. Number two, he played in the NFL, so he knows what's going on. Three, the camera always pans to him. He is always on the sideline towards the end of the game. He's there to support those players. He's there to support the coaches. They've made some really good hires over the years. They have signed some people that keeps them there in 49ers red and maroon, whatever you want to call that color, that keeps them there. So I think he's made some good choices over the years. And he went from, if you remember, he just ushered a team that went from last. Well, I guess they didn't go to first because Seattle was in first place, but they went from last to, they won their first playoff game over the weekend. So
they actually finished third in the division, believe it or not.
Did they? Seattle?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Rams. That's right. You are right.
They tied the Rams, but technically they're in third place. And they won a playoff game. They won at Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. So the Phillies looked terrible, the Eagles looked terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even and the Phillies did too. We'll just throw them out there too. They look awful. All right. So what about the worst executive of the year?
I have Duke Tobin of the Bengals. Or do I have Mike Brown, the owner? I mean, whoever's making the decisions, they did not draft well. They completely effed up the Trey Hendrickson situation. They should have traded him or extended him and not allowed him to go to free agency now, where they're going to get maybe a third-round compensatory pick. Just trading for Flacco, that was even dumb because they won probably a couple games that they could have gotten a better draft pick. I just didn't like anything the Bengals did this year, like not one thing. So I'm going to go with Tobin. Who you got?
Oh, I love it when our fans chime in because I'm going to agree with Amy. Okay. Amy, you're on point tonight.
I thought about him, but I
put down two. I actually did put down the Bengals staff as you just went through for a lot of the same reasons.
I almost said Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry's the other one I wrote down, but yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, for the Browns, yes.
Yeah.
But until Jerry Jones proves to me that he actually wants to win and he doesn't want to bring attention to himself and attention to his brand, and all it is making money, then this is going to be my standard answer every year until he does that. If I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I know we've got some out there, Cowboy Reggie's probably listening, or he will on a tape delay, depending on what his work schedule and stuff is for today. Until he proves to me that he wants to win, that's what an owner should want to do. And I don't think he does. I think he wants to make the most money, and I think he wants to put the most spotlight on himself, and that's what he's concerned about. And until that changes, he's the worst executive every year.
He wants to maybe he'll talk about the Cowboys 365 more so than winning. And I hope his son Stephen Jones, because Jerry Jones got to be in his 80s. When he passes, I hope Stephen Jones just is a leave-alone owner, hire people that know what they're doing, and try to win for the Cowboys' sake. Actually, I hope Jerry never dies.
All right, let's go off the Cowboys for a second. Let's go to our next category. Now I want to ask you why you put, because again, ladies and gentlemen, all these awards were cheese awards, right? So there was no meat and potatoes; they were just cheese awards. Anyway, so you put Offensive Player of the Year, and then down the line we're going to do Offensive MVP.
Yes.
In your opinion, please explain to me the difference. I know what I decided the difference was, but when you were looking at it, what did you think the difference was between Offensive Player of the Year and Offensive MVP?
Offensive Player of the Year is a stat award. Just I go on like who is the best like stats. Really a non-quarterback. That's kind of what I did because the most valuable player is a quarterback. They control so much of the game. So I picked the best non-quarterback as far as like offensive player is what I did. What did you do?
So Amy also threw out the GM for the Jets. I put that up there real quick. But Schmitty, I kind of agree with you. And here's the thing, right? I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. How in the world can you have two 1,000-yard receivers, a 4,000-yard quarterback, and a 1,000-yard running back and not make the playoffs? You can be the Dallas Cowboys. That's
Well,
how
the
you
defense
can.
stinks. Well, the defense does stink, but yeah, that's crazy.
But, yes. So the way I ended up doing it was MVP to me, most valuable player, means if you take them away from that team, they would just be terrible. So that was the kind of the distinction that I made off of it. So, just kind of qualifying that with everybody who's listening to us right now, we're going to do the MVP awards in a little bit, but right at the moment, we're going to do Offensive Player of the Year. I should have got drum rolls for some of these. I should have had a drum roll thing.
You want to go first?
I know.
Your turn to go first. Go ahead.
I mean, I want to make sure we put things up there when people brag on us. So I want to leave this up here for a couple seconds longer. Okay. Oh man. Okay. So Offensive Player of the Year, 715 yards. He was second in the league. 129 catches, first in the league. 10 touchdowns this year, tied for second. 3 plays of 40-plus yards or more. Was like tied for fourth, I believe. Number 1 in plays of 20-plus yards. 27 plays of 20-plus yards. And, because he has the mark of the beast, I put him in this spot too. Yards after catch, he was third in the league, and he had 666 yards after the catch. So this guy, Puka Nacua, Offensive Player of the Year.
I knew it was Puka Nacua or Jackson Smith-Njigba. Based on those stats, it's got to be one of them. I also went with Puka. If he didn't get hurt, he was on pace for like 171 catches at one point. The record's like 140 something. Like, he's just always open. I'm watching the game against the Panthers on Saturday. He's just always open. It's not like they're not trying to cover him. The Panthers actually have a decent secondary. It's crazy how open, and he's like I said, he's hurt a lot. He plays hurt. He's just so good. And I think he was a 4th or 5th round pick. Crazy. So yeah, also, hey, we were agreeing too much. Hopefully this is not good.
Sorry about this.
It's not good. Yes.
But I will say, and the reason why I put Puka here, I will have another receiver later on for my offensive MVP. But I put Puka here because they have other weapons on this team, not just him. So that was my distinction. The other team I don't think has near as many weapons. So I'm going to give that guy MVP. So we'll get to that in a moment. So both of us went with Puka for the Player of the Year. How about the worst Offensive Player of the Year? You want to go? Or you want me to go first?
You go.
All right, I'm going. All right, 41 receptions, 608 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And he was supposed to be like the next coming of Christ on the receiver field. And he's just not done it. I'm probably a little more, I don't know what 9 means. Is that Puka's number? Is that what that is?
J.J. McCarthy.
Oh.
He's picking J.J. McCarthy.
No! Smitty, what are you doing? Don't make me ban you. No, I'm just kidding. We wouldn't do that anyway. When the Arizona Cardinals drafted him so high a couple years ago, and they were like, yes, oh my gosh, no, Schmitty.
I mean, J.J. McCarthy did play. He had like 2 good games all year. He got hurt, but I get it. I didn't have him because it was his first year as a quarterback, and it's tough to play quarterback, and the offensive line let him down some, but I get it.
We'll do rookies as well here in just a little bit. So we'll divide it up into rookie. Maybe McCarthy will be one of our rookies of the year. I don't know. We'll see. Going back to the worst, Marvin Harrison for me is the worst one. He was supposed to be this great new receiver. He was really supposed to stretch the field. He's got the size. He's got the this. He's got the, oh my gosh. No, he hasn't done anything. And to me, maybe I'm a little too close to this team because this is where I live and I really expected more. But I would put him as the worst Offensive Player of the Year. Cheese, who do you have?
He did get hurt. But after he got hurt, it looked like the offense got better.
Right? Because Michael Wilson stepped up?
And Michael Wilson stepped up. Trey McBride had an amazing year. Yeah, he's got to be their third option going into next year. And Malik Neighbors was on the board. I know he's had trouble staying healthy, but he's so good when he is. So I went with – so this is a playoff team, and they made this trade. They wanted another weapon, and he had such a good season last year for Miami. And they expected him to probably be their number 2 receiver after DK Metcalf, and that's Jonnu Smith. And he sucks. He's never been a good blocker, but there's just so many times where he's not even giving effort in blocking, and he has no separation. It just looks like he's out there, and he doesn't want to be there. Like Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth are better players. He's at best the third best tight end on the team. They traded for him, and we're about to watch him play. He sucks. And he caught like over 80 balls last year for Miami. I don't know what happened, but yeah. So my worst offensive player of the year is Jonnu Smith, tight end Steelers.
All right. So remember to watch the game because I can't see the game from where I'm at. So make sure we don't go over the kickoff of the game.
We got about 25 minutes to go.
Okay.
25, 30 minutes. We'll finish by then. Yeah.
We'll be good by then. Okay. Defensive player of the year. And I hate to take the layup. I'm going to go first on this one because I took the layup. Okay. I mean, I hate to take the layup, but when you've got 23 sacks and the next person on the board has 16 and a half, which by the way is Brian Burns, you're the defensive player of the year. Myles Garrett, Cleveland Browns, defensive player of the year.
I mean, yeah, you have to. You have to. I mean, it's a record breaking, and he's a terror. He's an absolute terror. There's literally games that probably cost them. If he'd been out for the year with injury, they'd probably be picking first. But there's literally games they won because of him. A couple close games, but he just took over. So, yeah, I mean, that's easy. I don't think we need to say much more. I got Myles Garrett as well. All right, who's your worst defensive player of the year? Well,
I told you coming into this that there were some of these defensive things that I was like, worst defensive player. I mean, there's a ton of these guys. So
I wrote down a bunch too.
So they all seem to play for the Bengals, if you guys don't know. So here's what I did. I took the worst defensive team, and it's by far the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals this year had 171 missed tackles, and the next closest team to them had 131 missed tackles. If that tells you anything about that defense in Cincinnati. I watched it almost every game this year. Just terrible. And I couldn't pick one. So I just picked the whole team. There you go. Worst player, team, worst everything. Cincinnati Bengals.
And they drafted a lot of defense this year. But
anyway. They've drafted a lot of defense forever.
I went with a defensive back, and this guy used to be amazing. I don't think he was ever like a true shutdown corner, but he was always just a very, very good corner. And I don't know what happened. Did he lose his speed? He just fell off a cliff. I'm watching Ravens games, and people are just picking on him. They're throwing at him. And this guy used to be a guy you never threw at him. And that's Marlon Humphrey, cornerback of the Ravens. He sucked this year. There were some big games they needed to win, and late in the games, he just given up these big plays. And they missed the playoffs by one game. So, yeah, Marlon Humphrey, cornerback Ravens, is my worst defensive player of the year.
Now, Smitty, I wish I'd have talked to you before we started this, because I'd have probably went with you. I mean, when you're a defensive person and you're released by the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, you have to be terrible, right? Let's see, the Bengals had a chance, and
they were going to release him at the end of the year anyway. I think he was trying to get out of that. I think he did something to piss them off and wanted to play for a playoff team, which he did get to. Of course, they're already out, but they were going to release him anyway.
So she's saying made it back. I don't know how we went from Anderson it back to made it back, but she's probably doing like 3 or 4 different things. She's working on college papers and stuff like that. She's listening to us in the background because God, nobody wants to listen to us as the main thing going on. So I get that. Yeah, so the Bengals had a chance, according to Amy, and Burrow even made it back, and they still didn't get to the playoffs. But yeah, and somebody had to win that division, so it ended up being the Steelers, and they're about to get triple tonight.
They lost to the Jets. You can't lose the Jets. The Falcons missed the playoff by one game. They would have won the division. They would have hosted the Rams. They lost to the Jets. You can't lose the Jets.
We do podcasting now because we hate autocorrect too. So we're right there. All right. Fantastic, guys. Again, appreciate you guys all jumping on with us. Thank Amy, Schmitty, and everybody else that's been on here. We appreciate all of you guys helping us out and adding to the show. Again, this is the Lights Out Sports Podcast special, the NFL Awards Show. So we'll have our normal show tomorrow, Tuesday night. What time, Cheese? What are we going to do then?
8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We'll talk baseball, college football, and, of course, NFL. Yeah, so make sure you join us. And we're going to have to start going a little faster here on these to get done. We're about halfway done. We'll start going faster.
All right. So what was that? See, that was Defensive Player of the Year and then worst. Yes. So now we're going with Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think this one was too hard. I looked at it and was like, oh, man, there's a whole bunch of people. And then I started looking at stuff and I was like, oh, no. This is pretty easy. Oh, okay. But wait. Before you answer, look what you did. You did something. Oh, there you go. You look at that.
There you go. The notification bell is key, so you never miss one of the videos or the pods.
Absolutely. You can ask a quick question. We'll see it over here, and then we'll quick is the key word. But yeah, well, you can ask, and then we'll try to do everything at the end.
While she's doing that, I'm going to go Tedder McMillan. I think like Judkins. Well, I mean, he's on the Browns offense, so Harold Fenton Jr. also had a great year. Tyler Warren got off to a great start. He kind of fell off, so did Ibuka. So I think Tedder McMillan, played really well down the stretch. Wide receiver from Arizona, drafted by the Panthers.
Yeah, I have the same ones. So let me just give you the numbers. 1,014 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, no fumbles, by the way. Another reason why I put him up here, that's not usually what a young person does. And then if you look at their next 3 guys, Jalen Cooker, right, or Coker, I don't know which one. Coker, Xavier
Legette, yeah, he sucks.
Yes. And then Rico, I believe he's their running back. Rico, what is it, sir? Dowdle, yeah. If you take those 3 guys and you add up their receiving yards, it's 1,054. So they had 40 more yards combined than what McMillan did by himself. And when I saw that stat, I'm like, oh, no, this is over. He's the guy. So I agree with you. Offensive Rookie of the Year would be McMillan. Worst Offensive Rookie of the Year. Go ahead, Chiefs.
Jonah Sevania, guard for the Dolphins. I didn't think I had him in my top 100. And they traded up in the second round to get him. The Dolphins did. God, Chris Greer was so bad. And he can't play. I didn't love his film at Arizona. I don't know why everyone thought he was this great player. And he had one of the worst seasons I've ever seen a guard play. I mean, he just gets beat play after play after play, and the Dolphins wouldn't bench him. So Jonah Sevania was like 40th overall of the Dolphins. What about you?
All right. Well, I'm just going to, because of the sake of time here, and I don't really have a number for this one, so I was going to give you a team again and all this stuff. So I'm just going to agree with you, and we're just going to move right on. Amy, I want to tell you that I do see your question. We will talk about college football more tomorrow, and if we have some time at the end before the kickoff to the football game, we will go back and answer your question. So we just did Offensive Rookie of the Year, Worst Offensive Rookie of the Year. I like this one, Cheese. I'm glad you came up with this. Best first-round pick and worst first-round pick. Let's go with the best. Who are you going to say is the best one? We may have the same person.
You go first on this one.
Oh, I'm going to go first on this one. Okay. All right. Carson Schlesinger for the Browns.
He was the second-round pick. He was the first pick of the second round, but go ahead. Pick him. Just pick him anyway.
First round. Oh, you are right. It does say best.
It's okay. I would have put him if he was a first round pick. So go ahead.
All right, 146 tackles. He, that led the Browns. He had 64 solo tackles. He actually had 2.5 sacks, and he had 2 interceptions. Now, I know it's the Browns, but ladies and gentlemen, you guys also know the Browns got a decent defense. So, yeah, I get it. I apologize and admit to the fact that yes, you're right. He was the first pick taken in the second round. But I'm just trying to give you more value, Cleveland. That's the only time you're ever going to get mentioned on the show without having the word worst in front of it. So let's give Cleveland a little love. Go ahead, Cheese. Who did you pick for the best first round person?
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick Andrew Berry for worst executive, because he did get Harold Fenton Jr. and Carson Schlesinger. So
Okay.
I had to give him some credit for that. He
All right.
didn't do the great job with quarterbacks. So I could have gone Terry McMillan, but this is not a stat award. This is the best first-round pick. And I'm actually going to go to Chicago, the Bears, Colston Loveland, tight end. When he came out, I had Tyler Warren ahead of him. I would have taken Warren ahead. And Warren had a better first half. But I tell you what, Colston Loveland, he was healthy. When he got fully healthy, he had an unbelievable second half. And he just torched the Packers in that fourth quarter. And what's the price? He's so athletic, so good after the catch, downfield threat. But he also is a much better blocker than anyone gave him credit for. That was not on him. He won't block. He actually is a decent blocker. So, yeah, I think Colston Loveland, 10th overall, right now is the best first-round pick. Yes, the Bears.
That was the other guy that I wrote down before I messed up with Schlesinger. And I like what Chicago did. If you look what Ben Johnson did with the quarterback in Detroit, I just lost his name. Anyway, he had a really good tight end over there, Matt Laporta. Was that right?
Sam Laporta.
He did a really good job with him. I think he did a great job with Colston Loveland. Gave their quarterback more weapons. And he blocks pretty well, too. I'm surprised you didn't say that. He blocks pretty well as well. So, I'm with that.
I did say that, but
did you? Well,
yes.
I only pay attention to you half the time. So.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right. Who's your worst first-round pick?
Worst first-round pick. This one isn't even this one didn't take me long at all.
There's a few really bad ones, but go ahead.
Well, I've got to take someone that I watched the team. I didn't necessarily watch them because he didn't play very much. But I got to pick Stewart over with the Cincinnati Bengals. He was a reach. He had a good upside, but he didn't do that upside. And I think, honestly, the reason why the Bengals reached for this was because they knew they had to. The Trey Henderson thing was a debacle at that point, and they knew they had to get another person that played that same position. So they reached out there and tried to grab him in the first round when he was probably a second or a third round guy. You said there was plenty of bad people. Give us one, sir.
Well, just quick with Stewart. Yeah, he high upside, Jadeveon Clowney comps, but he just didn't have the production in college. So I thought about him, but he got hurt. I don't think he was ever fully healthy. But I'm going to go with Kenneth Grant. He was 13th overall by Miami. Yes, another Miami Dolphin. Defensive tackle, Michigan. He was always one of those players, boom or bust in college. There were games where he disappeared. And then other games where he absolutely dominated. He dominated that Ohio State game. It's one of the reasons they won. And sometimes he just plays way too high. This rookie year, he just looked like he was playing too high, like he was not interested. He's so gifted, but he's got to get low because he's this big 330-pounder. And some games, he's just getting pushed off the ball. He couldn't even stop the run. That's what he was always good at in college. And he didn't stop the run or rush the passers here. So I think Kenneth Grant right now, Miami Dolphins, another pick. I picked both their first and second round picks. Right now is the worst rookie and worst pick. So, okay, what's next?
All right, so defensive rookie of the year and worst defensive rookie of the year. I'm going to back out of this one. It's defense. We're running a little short on time. So, give me both.
We're both going to pick. We already talked about Carson Schlesinger. We both would have picked that, I think. Linebacker of the Browns, first pick of the second round. He's been tremendous. What a pick. He should have gone in the first round.
All right, what about worst?
Mike Green. He was a second-round pick of the Ravens. Everyone said he had top 15 talent. He has been accused of SA, I'll just say that, twice, once in high school, once in college. So he was a character risk, but everyone said, oh, the Ravens got a top 15 talent. They took him in the late second round, and he did nothing this year. And the Ravens had no pass rush whatsoever. So Mike Green is my worst rookie. How about you?
I didn't really have one. We're just going to move on from this from the defensive stuff. You're much better at this defensive stuff than I am. I'll admit to the fact that I'm not great. We got three more topics here to do. We got offensive and defensive. We'll do the most valuable and the least valuable of both of them, and then we'll conclude tonight with the worst team that made the playoffs and the best team that made the playoffs. So again, I'm going to go offensive. Offensive most valuable player. I'll give it to you here just a second. My guy here is because this guy is the most valuable person on the team. Excuse me. So here's what I went with: 119 receptions, 793 yards. He has, and this was the big one for me. I don't even know if you know this, Cheese, but think about this for a second. he had 8 times in the season where he gained 40 or more yards on a play.
Yeah.
He did that 8 times this year. And it's Jackson, Smith, and Jigma for the Seattle team. And like I say, I did this because they don't really have a number 2 guy, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody that even compares close to that. So because of that, if you take him off of that team, I'm not even sure if they make the playoffs. So yeah, that's the reason why I come up with what I've got. And we got a lot of comments over here, so I'll keep clicking while you keep talking. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to do the thing that the person's going to win. I try to think of someone else, but I have to go with Stafford. 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. You take him off that team, it's just he had a tremendous year. It's the best year he's ever had, and he's like 37 years old. It's incredible. He's never won MVP, so yeah, I'm just going to go with Matthew Stafford.
I can't wait to find out who your team is. So I might just pick him intentionally.
I swear, if my team's the worst, man, but I'm going to flip. I might not pick the team people expected, but all right. Who's your least valuable player?
So least guy, I have to put this quarterback in there, but and it's because he got hurt and he didn't do the production near as well this year as he did in years past. Jaden Daniels is my least valuable player. Yeah.
I didn't see injuries. I didn't take them into consideration.
I did take injuries into account. So,
okay.
But he had a quarterback rating of 44.8. I was looking up a lot of different stats on a lot of different quarterbacks. He only had 8 touchdowns and he threw 3 interceptions. So I know he got hurt, but that doesn't mean that your quarterback stuff can be that low with just that few of touchdowns and that high of interceptions. So let's see here. You got Schmitty gonna correct himself here.
Yeah, he did have a good year. He really came on. Mm-hmm. Nick Emmanwar, yep.
And then I assume that this is going to be offensive, the MVP, right?
Jackson Dart.
And then
up and down.
Like the second time, yeah, okay.
Up and down. Job, there's some things to like, but he's too reckless. Gets hurt too much. We'll see what happens in year 2.
We'll see what happens moving forward. So I gave you my worst. Who was your worst, Cheese?
I wanted to say Brandon Ayuk because he never played. He basically gave up on his team. But since he didn't play, I'm going to say Geno Smith. Geno Smith was terrible. Some games he was like he was trying to throw to the opponent. So the Raiders are picking first. One of the reasons is because he's terrible. Okay, 2 quick ones left.
Yes.
All right. Defensive MVP.
No, she's saying for worst player. She was saying Jackson Dart for the worst offensive.
Oh,
wow.
I wouldn't say that. He had some decent games in there. There's talent there, but I get it. Yeah, didn't play that great.
Yes, we'll all 3 agree with this statement. Yes, he does.
Who's
not going to? Because he's going to get a big payday, so he's not going to.
MVP. I did the same thing you for defensive MVP. If you take this player off the team, where would they be? So who's your defensive MVP?
So I didn't go with a player. I actually wanted to introduce a stat that I love. It's called the Havoc play. For those of you who are unfamiliar, it is when a team gets a play, when a team gets a pressure, a tackle for loss, a forced fumble, an interception, or a pass breakup. And I didn't take one player, I took a team because this team does it 43.4% of the time. They get one of these, either a pressure, a tackle for loss, a forced fumble, an interception, or a pass breakup. And I'm like, wow, 40. It's called a Havoc play, 43.4% of the time. It's the Houston Texans, and we're getting ready to watch them just absolutely destroy the Steelers here in a moment. So, I had to put those 2 things together. So I gave you a team for defensive MVP and not a player. Who was yours, Cheese?
Yeah, Will Anderson's had a great year for them. Because of Myles Garrett, no one's really talking about an edge rusher for Houston. But I'm going to go with Micah Parsons. They lost 5 straight after he got hurt. He had led the league in double and triple teams. Teams schemed around trying to stop him. There's no more important player on that defense than Micah Parsons. So I think that's pretty obvious. I picked that. Who's your defensive least valuable player?
All right. So again, I know you didn't look at injuries. I did. I did this again. Torrey's ACL only had 9 solo tackles and 2 sacks, but yet he cost the San Francisco 49ers $34 million this year. So I put Nick Bosa as my
Nick. He got hurt.
As my L MVP.
So I also have a Green Bay Packer for my least valuable player. Another in the same position as Micah Parsons. Oh, there you go. Okay. Sorry, skip for a second. I'm going to go with Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary tore his ACL back in 2022. He's never been the same. And this year he just checked out. There are plays where he just doesn't run hard. If another defender's closer, he'll just stop running. It even happened this game. There was a play where Carl Brooks was closer to Caleb Williams and gets in quarterback hit, and he just stops. And everyone said now that he has Parsons, he's finally going to get his first 10-sack year. And do you know how many sacks and tackle for losses combined he got the last 10 games, Mike?
No, sir, I do not.
The same amount as you did. 0. He basically checked out. He will not be a Packer next season. They're either going to trade him or cut him. So, yeah, Rashawn Gary sucks.
All right, interesting. We got one topic left. Let's go ahead and cover that one. It is the worst team that made the playoffs and the best team that made the playoffs. Let's go with worst first. So the worst team that made the playoffs, I don't think this is much of a stretch. I mean, I'm not even sure if they decided to be in the, or if they deserved to be in the playoffs to begin with, but I went with the Carolina Panthers. But I will give them a little credit. They looked better against the Rams than I thought they would. They did give them a run for their money, even though they had, I believe, 2 turnovers and everything else. They still made it a pretty good game. But yeah, I mean, when you can't even get a winning record, I'm not even sure if you deserve to be in the playoffs. You should just be knocked out, and we should choose another team that has a winning record. But that's a different story for a different day.
I get that, and I thought about them, but I went with an AFC team, and I hope it's not that guy's team. But I'm just like right now, who's the worst team in the playoffs? Like, and so injuries are a factor here. This is like picking a team. The offensive line, it's probably the worst offensive line I've ever seen in my life. They can't run block. They can't do anything. And the reason they're in the playoffs is because they have a really good quarterback, Justin Herbert. It's because they have a really good coach, John Harbaugh. They have a really good defensive corner, Jesse Mitchell. But the Chargers suck right now. I just don't know how they won as many games they did. Maybe Jim Harbaugh should be coach of the year. Maybe Herbert should be MVP because they have no business being in the playoff. That performance last night was pathetic. So the worst team right now, I think the Panthers would beat the Chargers right now. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. But next year, if they have another good draft and get some, they're going to get their offensive tackles back. They need some help on the interior. If they fix that, they could be really dangerous next year.
I will tell you that as the game was going on, towards the end of it, I put it out there on the X Universe because on our Lights Out Sports podcast this past Tuesday, I said the reason why I wasn't picking the Chargers is I'm not doing anything until Justin Herbert proves to me that he can win a playoff game. So I don't have to pick him next year either. So
he was running for his life. There's nothing he could do. It was not his fault. There's nothing he could do. So
that's the same thing that I thought about the Bills. And all of a sudden, Josh Allen just puts that game on his shoulders and gets them to the promised land. So.
His offensive line's much better. But I'll say this. Christian Gonzalez absolutely dominated that game. Shut down Quentin Johnson, cornerback for the Patriots. What a game he played. He is one of the best corners in the NFL, and no one's really talking about it. Except Chris Collinsworth did talk about the game. They did focus on it, so that was good. But
I want to talk about this tomorrow. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do it right now. What were your favorite people doing the broadcasting? I want to talk about that because we had all of those guys like back to back, and we got to hear them all.
Not a fan of Tom Brady. I think he's gotten better this year, but I'm not a fan. Some people don't like him. I like Nansen Romo. I like Tony Romo. I like how he breaks down games.
I do. He says stuff that's going to happen before it happens about half the time. So
I like him. Some people don't. I don't like Brady. Herb Street, give me a break. I mean, and Chris Collinsworth is very knowledgeable, but he knows he's knowledgeable. Score prediction. Steelers win 20-17. I'm sticking with the Steelers.
No, there's no way the Steelers win tonight.
Rodgers, DK Metcalf hit a big play. Steelers win.
I think you're still living in Green Bay Packer days, sir. But no, I'm gonna go Texans, and I'm gonna say Texans beat them pretty handily tonight, 24-14.
Okay, and the game's about to start in a few minutes. So
okay, so we'll get to this. The best team that's made the playoffs. It's our last one. I'm clicking on all these things here. So I'm gonna go with New England. They dominated the Chargers yesterday. I like what that team is. I like a lot of what that team is, even though you don't know half the people who are on that team. So that's the reason why I want to put them as the best. I'm banking that most casual football fans can't name 5 people on that team, yet they're still in the playoffs and they still dominated yesterday. Who would you say is the best team right now in the playoffs, sir?
Despite only winning a close game, I still think the Rams. I still think the Rams are the most complete team. The problem with the Rams is special teams. They got it pump blocked. If you take away special teams, the Rams, I think, hands down are the best team. But that could be their Achilles heel. They could lose a game on a horrible special teams play. It almost cost them the game. So I'd say Rams, and I really like the Broncos too. So that was my pick, member, for the playoffs for the Super Bowl. I just think the Broncos defense, they get so much pressure on you. They can beat you in so many ways. So yeah, I'd say Rams.
All right. So Amy says the Rams are dangerous, and then she goes and gives a score as well. 22-18 Texans tonight. So
yeah, I want to see Rams Seahawks one more time. I really enjoyed that game. It's one of my favorite games all year, that Thursday night game. So I would love to see that in the NFC title game.
All right, fantastic. Cheese, plug your channel one more time as we get ready to exit out of here. Tell us where they can find you at on X and YouTube, sir.
At Football with Cheese, CHEEZ, and X at Football Cheese without the with. And of course, Mike picked Steelers because he doesn't like them.
Correct. I'm a Bengals guy, so I can't like the Steelers.
Louis third,
the bottom for me, by the way.
Louis third to last. Third to last. I got Chargers and Panthers, the only teams that are worse. Sorry.
No, I was going to say the same thing, except I wasn't.
But I still think if they win tonight, that's going to be it. Not going to win nothing. If they win, I'm trying to think who they play.
They'd be in New England, right?
They would. Yes, they go to New England, and they did win there. I think they did win there earlier this year, but I think it was 5 turnovers for New England. So yeah, I think this is it for them if they win. But I think I'm predicting. I think they might win this.
All right. Thank you guys very much. We certainly appreciate all of you here with us. We love each and every one of you. Let's put this in the background. Damn. I'll tell you. That's everything. Is there anything you want to add to that, buddy?
I didn't hear what you said. It kind of cut out, but yeah, everyone who watching 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific tomorrow for the Lights Out podcast. We got a great show tomorrow. Lots of stuff to talk about, and I'm going to go eat some chicken.
Me too, actually. I got chicken on the menu as well. So yes, I'm going to go do that too, bud. All right.
Might be better than the Eagles too, Louis. Go ahead.
Okay. So as we say at the end of every one of these broadcasts, we thank you guys very much. Appreciate you. We keep growing on our YouTube channel, almost 15,000 views in the last 7 days. So that's our highest mark ever. Please keep that up for us. We appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. And we will hang on. Let me get the last couple comments on here. There.
Yep. Steelers just received. So.
All right. Excellent. Thank you guys very much. And of course, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone.